Join us as we venture beyond the gates of Walt Disney World and Disneyland, exploring captivating day trips that add an extra layer of enchantment to your Disney experience. Welcome, fellow travelers, to Earstravagent Adventures, your portal to the world of magical travel. I'm Rachel, and alongside Abby and Mackenzie, we're your guides to the enchanting realms of Disney, Universal, and beyond. Join us to uncover hidden treasures, behind-the-scenes tales, and insider tips that transform vacations into extraordinary escapades. From planning perfection to savoring culinary delights, we're your go-to source for all things magical. Whether you're a lifelong fan or a first-time explorer, Earstravagent Adventures is your awaited journey. Tune in every other week as we unlock a world of wonder and memories. Welcome aboard, adventurers. We are going to dive in today with a very minuscule amount of theme park news. We had to scrounge to come up with anything. I don't know if that's good or bad. Are we happy or sad that we don't have a ton of theme park news these days anymore?
I think it's summer, right? They're like, yeah, we'll get back to you in the fall.
Yeah, it's all, I mean, it all is all back. Well, maybe not for you guys, but it is back. I'm in Texas and we all go back to school on Wednesday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Weeks.
Yeah. You guys are September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, back to school for us Southerners, but to get you excited for the rest of the year, Disneyland did drop the dates that they will be celebrating the holidays at their parks over there. And it's going to be November 10th through January 7th. I'm kind of surprised that it's going through January 7th. Does it usually go into January? I can't remember, honestly.
Just feels later into January than I feel like it normally is, but
I feel like
more time to see it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like always like appropriate. Like, what is that, Little Christmas? So
yeah, just that little extra bit. And all their normal stuff is coming back. They announced the Feliz Navidad is coming back. The holiday overlay to It's a Small World. Of course, Haunted Mansion Holiday will remain. And then the festival, what's it called? The Festival of the Holiday. Their version of Festival of the Holidays will return. They did not say anything about a special ticketed event. I know they had one last year as like a test, but they didn't say anything about that this year. So I'm not sure if that's coming back or not. But exciting. Yeah. And then Abby and I, big Run Disney fans, we were excited that the Run Disney medals were revealed for Marathon Weekend 2024. How did you feel about the designs, Abby? Did you take a look at them?
I did. I really liked them. Some of them feel very fresh and different, which I was happy to see, especially after like the last set of princess ones were a little bit like more of the same. Mm-hmm. But I'm very excited about them. I'm not running this particular event, but I would definitely want to do the Dopey if I were, because all the medals are good, especially that Chip and Dale one. Very cute. The 5K Chip and Dale.
Yeah, the Chip and Dale one is pretty popular. I'm trying to do the half, but I decided too late, so I'm just waiting to see if any last minute reservations open up because Donald and Daisy, obviously. Yeah, but these medals this year, I like them. They're colorful. They're not like super in your, like the last year's the 90s theme, that was fun, but it was very like a lot. So these being a little more tame but still fun, I love it.
I like the three-dimensionality to them. They look nice.
Yeah, and it's not like too much going on. Like sometimes it's just like too much spinning plus moving and like, okay, let's calm down with that. Let's just have some cool elements. I love it. Yeah. So have you done Marathon Weekend before?
I've not. I've done Princess half before and Wine and Dine, which I'm doing again this fall.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you to do Marathon Weekend one year. And that is literally all the news that we have.
That's it for news.
That's it for the news. But we are all wearing ears today. So, Mackenzie, where'd you get your ears?
These are vintage Disney World ears, I think circa 2005.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. They look very plushy. Are they plushy?
They are. His bow is very plushy, yes.
Oh, even the bow is?
Yeah, there's a little bit to it.
Nice. Abby, how about you? They look like they're Swarovski crystals. What's going on yours?
They're just glitter and sequins, not just glitter, but not Swarovskis. They're from a shop she operates on Etsy, and she has her own site called Soarin' Over Main Street. She does drops. You can follow her on Instagram. She'll announce like when the drops are coming up and which ears will be part of it. She has a lot of really fun designs. I am a giant Pooh Bear fan, ginormous Pooh Bear fan. So couldn't resist these. Let me especially look at the little honey twister.
Those are really good Pooh Bear ones. How comfortable are they? Because I know that's a question people
They
ask.
are definitely more comfortable than the Walt Disney World and Disneyland ones, especially for ones that have sequins. It's a regular headband underneath. So yes, I would say they're significantly more comfortable. My ears do not hurt. No headache.
Yeah, that's the only drawback to the Disney parks ones. Even like, especially the older ones, because the older ones, those headbands were like so bad, you get like a migraine after 2 hours.
Yeah, and like you write the pinpoints here, especially if you were wearing sunglasses too. Which, like, come on, let's face it, these are sunny places.
Yeah,
tough times.
Yeah.
Might be coming off throughout this episode. So,
well,
where'd you get yours?
Mine are from Factory 55. So
yes.
I know I've worn them before, and I mentioned they're interchangeable. So these are the headband is the same, but the ears and the bow are different because they're all interchangeable. And they have their own shop. They're on Instagram. They do drops, I think, every Friday. But I just bought some of their Halloween stuff.
Oh, I actually did get a pair of Factory 55 ears. That's probably what I'll wear next. And I got 2 sets of ears. I got Beauty and the Beast because besides Pooh Bear, Beauty and the Beast is my number 1. And then some Castle ones because I need a classic Castle.
You got to have a classic Castle. They go with everything every season.
That's right.
Well, how about we take a quick break and get a word from our sponsor, Mackenzie?
Sure. This episode of Earstravagent Adventures is brought to you by Wave of a Wand Travel. Specializing in family theme park travel, Wave of a Wand Travel knows all the insider secrets and hidden gems to make your trip absolutely magical. Whether you're planning a visit to the magnificent wizarding world, exploring an enchanting kingdom, or diving into an underwater paradise, their expert team of travel planners has you covered. If you're ready to wave goodbye to all the stress of planning and wave hello to a journey filled with joy, laughter, and wonder, reach out to Wave of a Wand Travel today. Visit their website at www.waveofawandtravel.com or give them a call at 201-401-5378 and let the magic begin. Remember, when it comes to family theme park travel, Wave of a Wand Travel is the name you can trust to make your dreams come true. Now let's dive into magical stories and unforgettable moments on Earstravagant Adventures.
Awesome. So as we kind of alluded to at the beginning, very, very beginning of the episode, we are going to be talking about escaping the magic, unveiling enchanting day trips, because Orlando and Anaheim are more than just a theme park destination. And not all the time, but I know I do, and I'm sure you guys do, get clients that are asking what else they can do outside of Disney. So thought we'd kind of talk about some things that we've done, we recommend, fun things to do. So let's start at Walt Disney World. Abby, I think this one is one of your favorite things to do.
Yeah, so I actually am a big Disney Springs fan. I think there's lots of fun stuff to do. A lot of people aren't sure about what exists there. My absolute favorite thing to do at Disney Springs is the Lego store minifigure experience. If you are a Lego fan or have small Lego fans in your house, most Lego stores have a make your own minifigure experience where you're just selecting from, an assortment of bits and bobs, heads, hairs, accessories, and making your own combination. The one at Disney World is unique as far as I know. You can print on them. They have Disney characters, sayings, fonts, graphics that you can put on them, and you can really like tweak the figure so that it resembles you or someone that you'd like to make one for, or you can just do something totally out of the box. But that is a pretty unique souvenir. And it's always a fun activity as well. I love to do that before we grab dinner. I'm a big fan of the boathouse. It's all right there.
And Disney Springs also has, we didn't put it on the list, but it has the Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life show, which is, I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've seen it. I loved it. It's not as good as La Nuba, but it is very good and highly entertaining. So that's something else to do. And Disney Springs is free to go there. It's free to park. It's free to walk around. It's an outdoor shopping and dining area. So there's no admission required. But, like if you want to go to the movies, if you want to go bowling, if you want to go to Cirque du Soleil, there's a cost as, should be expected. But just to go walk around, totally free.
Yep. And they have that hot air balloon experience too, which I have never done, but I keep meaning to.
Oh, and the amphibicars.
That's right. At the boathouse, the amphibicars. Those are always so neat. And then there's Gideon's Bakehouse, which like
It's an attraction of itself.
Right.
that's right. Can't miss those half-pound cookies.
Longer wait times than Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Luckily, it's a virtual queue that you don't have to pay for. So I'll take that any day.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mackenzie, have you taken your kids to these next two, SeaWorld or Discovery Cove?
So not yet. It is on the list because SeaWorld has Sesame Place within it. So
Yes.
It is definitely something that we want to do. But it is a popular one with my clients, particularly Discovery Cove. So.
And what's the difference between the two?
So Discovery Cove is going to be more of a water experience. I don't want to call it a water park, but it is right. Like it's, you can swim with dolphins. There's, more of a like lounging experience. You can go do all these different activities, see a bunch of different wildlife. What else can you do?
You can swim with dolphins for sure. You can also swim with sharks, can't you?
Oh, that one I don't know. Can you swim with sharks?
Yeah, I think you can because I've done. A client wanted to do that. We did the sharks, the dolphins, and I think there's a couple other experiences. But it's more in my head. It's more like educational, funjucational than like because there's no rides.
Right. It's like a massive like. Not like a touch tank, but you can like swim with other like smaller sea life. So super cool.
Yes. We actually did take our kids to SeaWorld when we were on a cruise shortly after the new Sesame Street section opened, and it was the end of 2019 when we were there. One of the reasons I chose it was a stop on the cruise, and I know that there's a lot of confusion sometimes around the Port Canaveral stop being in Orlando. It is not. It's about an hour outside of Orlando. We were still back in Fast Pass days at the time too. So I didn't personally choose to go to a Disney park because I felt like I wouldn't be able to do it the way I wanted with the amount of time I had on that particular cruise. So we went to SeaWorld. We did their trackless ride, their ice. It's like a penguin ice experience. It was very novel at the time because we didn't have trackless rides at Walt Disney World. And the Sesame Street section is very cute. It is small. It is, even with a small child, definitely not like a full day situation, but they've done a really nice job. There's interactive parts. There's the food truck with Gonger and Cookie. There's, character meet and greet, much like the one that's sort of in Big Top Circus at the back of Fantasyland. So we had a good time. We had fun memories there. I just wouldn't go expecting like an all day experience.
And same with another close by attraction, LEGOLAND. Would you spend an entire day at LEGOLAND?
I think I have actually spent an entire day at Orlando's LEGOLAND. LEGOLAND is, and we'll get back to it. I know there's one in California as well. There's actually one near us in New York. Those I would say are not as much full day experiences, just by nature of being in Central Florida. They have more space. I think LEGOLAND is best suited for kids maybe under 10, so younger families. There are some really high ticket like rides, they're so-called attractions, they're marquee attractions. The really fun ones, or my favorite ones, were the ones that were focused around the Lego Movie. If you're a Lego Movie fan, they have, as far as I know, the only version of Brickburg. So that was really fun. And that extra section of the park sort of did give us a little bit more time to stretch. Otherwise, I think no. And, people ask me all the time, I'm sure you guys get this too, about should I stay at the hotel when I'm at LEGOLAND? The answer is you don't need to, but it does add to the experience. The LEGOLAND hotels are sort of an experience and an attraction in itself. So if you'd like to, great. You do not need to. You can definitely do this in a day and drive back to either your Universal or your Disney World resort.
Nice. And so those are kind of the other theme parks in the immediate vicinity of Walt Disney World. There's also a lot of outlet shopping. So I know this sounds kind of silly, but a lot of people like to go. The number one, the Character Warehouse is there, and that one is arguably the best character warehouse. And when I say character warehouse, it's where Disney sent Walt Disney World sends their merchandise that's no longer in season. So you can find Run Disney merch after the events are over. You can find Halloween, Christmas, or basically anything that they're taking out of the parks if it's still available for a pretty good discount on these things. They do have really long waits to get in. Like we were joking about Gideon's, like you could wait like an hour to get into the character warehouse just to, you know, spend more money. But a lot of people like to go there. In addition to the character warehouse, though, there's like name brand. So I don't know, Nike, Puma, Victoria's Secret, Kate Spade, like big name outlets will be there. So if you want to buy some nice discounted stuff, that is definitely, and there's multiple outlets too. So shop till you drop at the outlets. Have either of you guys, because Cape Canaveral is the next one that's about, like Abby said, it's about an hour and a half away. Cape Canaveral is where they shoot off rockets. Have either of you guys taken your kids or your families out there?
No, but I've had a good number of clients who are big space fans and they want to go see the Kennedy Center. They go. They have a good time.
And it's, I mean, pretty close. If you're already in Orlando, you could Uber out there, or you could, you know, rent a car for the day. It probably equals out to be about the same, but it's pretty close. And I know they do rocket launches actually pretty frequently. And if you schedule it right, you could probably go see a rocket launch.
That's right. If you schedule it right, you could probably do something. If you were doing a land and sea Disney vacation, you could probably squeeze that in there.
Yeah, because that's right. Yeah, right, very close from the port. Yeah. The kind of the other way is St. Pete's Beach. That's a really nice beach in Orlando, Florida. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the geography of Florida, Orlando is in the middle of the leg part. So it's not actually on the water. I don't know if you guys do. I have so many clients that are like, oh, just, 30 minutes to the beach. Okay. No, it's not 30 minutes, like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to the beach. It's close in terms of, for me, 2 hours is close, but it's not as close as you think. So yes, you can absolutely do a day trip to a beach, and there's really nice ones in the area, but it's not as close as you think.
Yeah. So beaches in the area, St. Pete's, Clearwater. You can go the other way and go to St. Augustine, Daytona.
That's right. Daytona's really close too. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
For your NASCAR fans, right?
Or beach fans, they have a nice beach. What's this Safari Wilderness Ranch? I want to know more about this.
So this is fun. I've only been once myself, but it is not too far. It's still in central Orlando. It is sort of like Animal Kingdom, like the best of Animal Kingdom on steroids. So not too many people, I think, utilize some of the up close encounters that are offered at Animal Kingdom. There is, one with lions and one with, I think they're doing zebras and water animal that I can't remember right now, but they changed them up. You can do those, and those are magical enhancements. You pick them up about 60 days before your trip, and then you'll see them on the safari. So the safari, they have their own sort of like really in-depth safari. They have custom ATV ones. You can put together your own group, and then they have a lot of like up-close encounters. Right before the show, I was looking to see what they had added recently. They just added one with sloths. If you're a sloth fan, you can get very up close and personal with sloths. So if you're an animal lover, it's more than a zoo. It's more akin to Animal Kingdom, but that's all they do. And it's something like 300 acres of land.
Wow. That's really big.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. That's another great option. How close is that? Do you know?
It's in Lakeland, so I think depending on traffic, you're looking around an hour.
Okay, that's totally doable. What's Peppa Pig Park? I know who Peppa Pig is. You guys, bear with me because I don't have kids, so I know who that is, but I don't know what this is.
Peppa Pig got her own park in Orlando. It is absolutely suited for younger kids. I actually haven't been there myself, but I have. I've heard many reviews. It's suited for kids who are going to be fans of the show. So you're looking at toddlers. It's all, kiddie rides. It's all manageable. It is not huge. It is, walkable for someone who would not be able to walk through Walt Disney World. It is a good add-on. I've had a couple guests added on to the end or beginning of a theme park stay. But yeah, if you have a Peppa Pig fan, I feel like it's sort of a can't miss situation. If you're on holiday, as Peppa would say.
Where is it?
It's a great question.
It's right next to Legoland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's you can pair it with that.
I was about to say, you think you could do both of those in a day? It sounds like Peppa Pig is definitely at like a half day thing.
Yeah. I think if your kids are holding out, you could definitely do both in a day.
Nice. Now, and since we kind of mentioned how close Orlando is to some beaches, what are some other activities they can maybe participate in besides just sitting on a beach? Because as much as we love sitting on a beach, we got some active clients that like to do stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. You don't even have to go too far for these. Ask one of us or your travel advisor about locations for these. I know some of the off-property but on Bonnet Creek properties like the Four Seasons and the Ritz offer some of these experiences right out of the hotel. They have glass bottom caravans, so if you're into boating, some of them you can even captain yourself, which is not my thing, but I definitely have had clients who like to do that, and it's fun. You can see the fish and the wildlife from the glass bottom. Orlando is actually like semi-famous for seaplanes, which is again, not something I've done, but the planes take off and land in the water and you get a little bit of tour of the area. There's actually a lot of fishing experiences. Again, I think the Four Seasons has one themselves. And yeah, I mean, while you're at the beach, there's all sorts of regular water sports, right? Jet skis and what are they called? The ATV things that go on. Are they jet skis too? You can tell this is really my area of specialty. I love water.
Those are jet skis, right? Well,
yeah.
they have the water planes, right?
Yes, seaplanes, right? Seaplanes.
Yeah.
Yep. And the parasailing, you can go parasailing.
So you can do a lot of stuff at Walt Disney World, and
really,
all
that's not
like
our jam, but we will help you if it is your jam.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, when we're going to Disney, we want to do Disney, but we know not everybody is obsessed with Walt Disney World as we are.
It's like an Everglades tour. It's like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Florida Everglades, right? So that's another one that if you are on a cruise too, if you have a stop in the Port Canaveral area, I know the Everglades tours are pretty popular. If you don't feel like you can squeeze a park in there too.
Yeah, don't get us started on the alligators, because that's definitely a big thing in Orlando.
It's triggering.
Anything else we want to contribute to Walt Disney World before we head to the other side of the country? No? Okay.
Let's go to Los Angeles.
Cool. Then Disneyland. So, quick caveat. I know we've talked about this before, but if you're new to the show, you might not realize this. Disneyland is in Anaheim. So Anaheim is actually, depending on traffic, I always say it's at least an hour, because I've never gotten there faster than an hour. It's an hour from Los Angeles. So it's not actually in Los Angeles. It's in a suburb of that. So one of the main things to do if you want is visit Los Angeles, and there's a ton of stuff to do within Los Angeles itself. Number one, go see the Hollywood Walk of Fame, go to the Grauman's Chinese Theater. What's the theater where they play the Hyperion, right? Is that where what's it called?
The Hollywood Bowl, right?
No, the movie theater where they play the Disney movies, and it's like on, oh my gosh.
Okay, you think of that one. We can name other things. There's a legitimate food scene in West Hollywood. If you're a foodie, that's blown up. If you're listening to this and you had visited West Hollywood a long time ago, it has very much exploded as an up-and-coming neighborhood. That's always fun. If you are in the Los Angeles area, I'm a big baseball fan. I always like to catch a game at Dodger Stadium. I've combined that with my own Disneyland trips before. Have either been to the Grove in Beverly Hills?
I think I have. I went to LA for work, and it's like an outdoor shopping area, right?
It is, except it used to be ginormous, and times have changed a little bit in how we shop, but it is now attached to what used to be of its own accord, the LA Farmers Market. And it is not actually a farmers market like you are thinking of, where like local farmers come and set up shop. It is permanent or semi-permanent stands that they lease, and you will find so many different kinds of things. There are sit-down restaurants that serve all kinds of food. There are innumerable sweet places that serve homemade chocolates or caramel apples, fresh squeezed lemonade, pretty much anything you can, anything you want, you can find. You can bring home meats, you can bring home spice blends. It goes on and on. It is directly attached to the Grove, so I always park in the Grove structure. You can have lunch at the farmers market and do some shopping at Nordstrom's or grab a movie or whatever you want to do. But the farmers market is a good time, and a lot of nostalgia there as well. You can tell it's been there a while.
The theater is the El Capitan Theater.
The El Capitan Theater. Oh, yeah, we should know that because that's what.
Yeah, I know. Like it was on the. I'm like, it was just on my brain. But they have the Ghirardelli shop inside, and they'll sell special edition pins, and they have like a ton of cool events, and they'll play all kinds of Disney movies, not just current releases. And it is like right on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, so you can do that. I will really quick preface the Hollywood Walk of Fame with it's not the safest area. So it's in a part of LA that's not super great. So if you're going to do the Hollywood Walk of Fame, kind of stick to the populated areas, especially by the Chinese theaters. So that way, you're in areas with other people. Not to freak you out, just, parts of Hollywood aren't great. Like every city has its places that you kind of don't want to visit. Same with LA.
Doesn't look exactly like it does in the movies.
No.
But if you are visiting the Grove and the Farmers Market, I think it's always worth it to go. That's in Beverly Hills. It's always worth it to go. Take a drive down Rodeo. That does look very much like it does in the movies. Depending on what you're doing there, you might be doing some celeb sightings as well.
Yeah, and you can definitely get some good vantage points of the Hollywood sign. You cannot go to it though. There is some pathways that will get you close. It's hiking, but you cannot get up to the Hollywood sign. They have blocked it off. It's not accessible. So I would just say find some place at night. There's a couple really great vantage points at night where you can see it all lit up with exactly like it is in the movies with the spotlights coming off of it. It's really great. So there's some drive points where you can go visit that. We
mentioned beaches on Walt Disney World in Florida. There are lots of great beaches though in Southern California. And you can take a drive up the Pacific Coast Highway to get to some of those beaches, and they are really, really stunning. And again, look much like they do in the movies.
Yeah, the beaches are very different though. Like the ones in Florida, they're very much like a traditional what you'd expect beach. The ones in California are a little more rocky. So at least the ones that I've been to, I find that there's more like rocks as opposed to like flat sand.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends where you are on the coast. So yeah, drive up. I mean, Venice Beach is generally pretty smooth, but it's also very touristy.
Venice Beach is very touristy. Like Laguna Beach is more rocky, but Venice Beach is more like in Santa Monica Pier. It's more
exactly by the promenade. Yep.
Yeah, used to experiencing. And we've mentioned it before, but Universal Hollywood is also in LA. So if you want to go to Universal Hollywood, you do kind of need a full day for that because there is a lot of stuff to do, especially with the Super Mario now. But that's in LA. Yeah. What other theme parks are around Disneyland? I know of two. Do you guys want to talk about those?
Yeah. So Knott's Berry Farm is there. Have you guys been there?
Not since I was a literal child. So no, but have you guys been?
No.
I haven't.
So if I'm getting it right, I think it's like thrill level is like Universal, style, maybe like Islands of Adventure, like theme park, thrill level, right? Are we kind of?
Yeah, and it's got traditional like wooden coasters. And
Okay.
it's the characters, it's the Peanut characters. So
that's right.
Yeah, you can meet like Snoopy and stuff there. And they have their own food and wine festival, but it's all like boysenberry stuff because Knott's Berry does jelly and jams and things like that. They also do their version of Halloween Horror Nights, which is scary like Halloween Horror Nights. So it's not like Disney doing family-friendly fun. Their Halloween is scary, but this is like very much a locals park, so it's not nearly as crowded. It's not as busy. You could easily do this whole park in maybe a half day or a day, depending on how fast you want to move. But it's traditional, like wooden roller coasters, a little more intense than Disney in general can be.
I think the season pass for Knott's Berry is probably the price of a day ticket to some of the.
That's probably true.
Yeah, that's probably true. Have you guys been to LEGOLAND in Anaheim? I know there's another one over there.
There is. Yeah, I have been. I think this is more what you were saying before, Rachel. I think this is a great half day park. If you have Legoland, if you, Lego fans, if you have small children, and you're not doing, quite as much at Walt Disney World, then I think it's a great opportunity. Otherwise, I feel like if you are visiting, there's just so many other things to do besides Legoland.
Yeah, Legoland and Knott's Berry don't scream like must do to me.
Yeah. Especially because they're Legoland's other places. Knott's Berry is at least unique to that, to Southern California.
Right.
And that might be a hot take, though. We might have some angry Legolanders coming.
Yeah, tell us in the comments. Are you pissed that we said that? I mean, I feel like it's a normal thing, but who
we'll
knows?
Have you on. You can, talk about it and tell us what we're missing.
Well, and we also would be remiss if we didn't talk about San Diego, which it's close, but it's not close. Have either of you guys done that day trip from Anaheim?
It's funny. I think I've done it on the same trip, but I've been Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Diego. Like sort of separate stops.
Isn't it like 3 hours away? How close is it?
Yeah, it's not that close. It's a drive.
Yeah, 2 hours, 3 hours, depending. Because we were looking into flying into San Diego to make it like Abby said, like a destination. So I think it's kind of a not equidistant, but it's definitely another alternative if you were looking for another flight option.
And in San Diego, yeah, there's a ton of stuff to do there. I mean, is that the original SeaWorld?
It's a good question. I've always thought of Orlando as being the original.
I know the one we have here in San Antonio is the biggest, but I can't remember. So they have a SeaWorld there, but they have the San Diego Zoo, and the San Diego Zoo, like, it is
amazing.
I want to say world famous. I don't want to be cocky and say world famous. It is United States famous.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge, and it has so much to do, like zip lining and tours, and just doing the zoo itself can take you all day. They also have the military base there, which that's a whole thing. They have, I don't know if this is family friendly, but you can go see horse races at Del Mar Racetrack. They have a big horse racing scene there. The only reason I know that is that's my uncle. He used to do that, not bet on the horses, but he used to work for a company that did things with that. So it's a really nice scene. What else is there to do in San Diego? What have you guys done?
Not San Diego, but along the same lines and back towards Los Angeles, Long Beach area. One thing we didn't mention is the Aquarium of the Pacific, which is a very famous, again, United States famous, maybe not world famous aquarium. It's been in lots of movies. If you've seen The Muse, it's prominently featured in The Muse, which is a fun movie, and I recommend that. But that is the nicest aquarium I've been to. We can go back to San Diego.
Well, I think you can take the PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, up to San Diego, can't you?
I believe you can.
And that, I know we mentioned it already, but that is like a tourist attraction in and of itself. And people just drive it because it is really, like, I think we're all in agreement. California is beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, hard to argue with that for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of stuff to do in California, but California is way longer than people think. And, you think going from LA to San Francisco is easy. I think that's like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate flight.
Yeah.
I have done that flight. That is I think hour and a half.
Well, that's a nice, easy flight.
Yeah, but it's, it's so many hours of driving. I think especially Mackenzie and I up here in the Northeast, like, sure, you could fly from New York to Boston, but you're barely at like cruising altitude. The whole flight is like 45 minutes. So if it's an hour and a half flight, then it must be a long drive.
Yes, it's an 8-hour drive, but like when you go north in California, you just see the terrain change and it's really beautiful. So if you wanted to do a tour to California, let's say, you totally could. The redwoods up north are phenomenal. You will not see those in LA because LA is desert. So don't expect to see these giant, beautiful trees there. You have to go a lot further north for that.
Napa's up there too.
Napa is about an hour outside of San Francisco. So if you get your butt up there, you can go taste some amazing wine.
A whole new world up there.
Whole nother episode for sure. Just talking about Napa. Shoot.
And back towards Disneyland, I know you sort of mentioned it at the outset, no, it's Anaheim, it's not Los Angeles, and therefore please don't fly into LAX unless you have to for loyalty reasons or you're combining it with another portion of your trip. I like to fly into SNA, which is, Newport. That is a nice small airport. I like staying in Newport. If you're combining a trip and you're doing a couple sort of trip, Pelican Hill, that place is amazing and not very far from Disneyland. If you're into spa, that's a nice add-on. And then there's a really truly a great shopping center there, not outlets at all, terrifying price tags, but Fashion Island is a fun place to shop and celebrity spot.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be finding a lot of outlets in California.
No, especially not in Newport Beach.
No, especially not in Newport Beach. Mackenzie, where do you guys fly into when you go to Disneyland?
Well, so for us, it's important to have the direct flight. And from Boston, that's, you're limited into those bigger airports. So we did fly into LAX, but that was why San Diego is another option for us. But like if I'm traveling alone, like Abby said, I would be doing something closer and doing SNA.
Oh, yeah, that's another good point. We have a lot of direct flights and SNA is Santa Ana, John Wayne. So that's the name, and it can be very confusing. You can also fly into Long Beach. That's another local.
Long Beach is a great small airport.
That's another one. And these are nice small airports. Like Mackenzie said, flying with kids, like for a lot of my clients, it's a toss up. Do you want a direct flight or do you want an easier to navigate airport? Because LAX has a ton of nonstop flights, but it's a gigantic airport. So it's like a toss up. And the Uber situation from LAX is bizarre. So
if you get,
if you get an Uber from like right outside the airport, it's like $150. But if you walk like a 10, 15 minutes to where they have like a station set up, it's like $60.
Yes. They also have really cracked down on the Uber stopping right in front of the airport, especially the amount of traffic. And then if you haven't been to LAX, if you ever rent a car at LAX, you have to take a shuttle. Those shuttles are driving around where most airports have what would be a passenger pickup area. So they are definitely forcing you into that OK Corral Uber Lyft lot, which depending on what terminal you're in or, what gate you came from, that could be a bit of a walk. But
we did a private car service and that was like a small fortune for the 6 of us on the last trip.
That's it's not a short drive.
Did you think it was worth it though?
Car seats, right?
Well, so for me, yes, because I needed 2 car seats.
I know that's not what this episode is about, but it's also really, really important because flying into the airports, it's a big decision. And these are additional costs that people don't always think about. So that's why I say, like, you have to decide, do you want a nonstop flight or do you want, and it depends on where you're coming from, obviously. Like from Houston, we have nonstop flights, but we are also in the middle of the country and you guys are not. So it's easier for us. Yeah. How long of a flight is that for y'all to get to California? Like 6 hours?
5 to 6 hours. Yeah. But also to your point from before, Rachel, I think it's smart too to think about these things. If you are going to be doing, excursions outside a Disney bubble, maybe you want to rent a car and either bring your own car seat on the plane or rent a car seat. I know people have feelings about that. It depends what stage of car seat you're in, but that is another factor, right? If you want to have the flexibility of driving to any of the destinations we've talked about, sometimes it's nice to have your own ride.
Yeah, I think if you go, because you guys are flying so far, you'd make it a longer trip and just add on like going to San Diego, because it's a beautiful place to visit, and kids love the zoo. I mean, come on, this is a zoo on steroids. So, you can always plan a longer trip as well, because it is such a long flight. So it's like what I tell my clients when they're visiting Europe, because that flight is minimum a 7-hour flight. Make it a longer trip because it's a long flight. So take advantage of it while you're there. So we can just extend your trip and do, like I said, a tour to California. Or you could go to Tijuana. I don't recommend that, but you totally should. Speaking of day trips, because that is like a day trip
That is
from
a
LA.
thing people do. Yeah.
The other way. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend that as your friendly travel advisor, but you could.
You could hop on a guided tour into Tijuana.
I don't know,
Yeah.
Rachel. I heard you recommend horse racing and Tijuana in the same episode.
I know. What kind of travel am I planning? You don't want to know.
It's a whole different kind of magic adventure.
I know, right? In LA, something that I don't recommend you seeing, just because when I went, I was so incredibly underwhelmed. I was disappointed, is the tar pits.
The La Brea tar pits.
Yeah. So in downtown LA, there are tar pits that date back to the dinosaurs. I don't know, history, facts, science. It's fine. But it was the most underwhelming thing I've ever seen in my life. And of course, it smells bad because it's tar.
I've also, if you talk to people who are from Los Angeles or visited the tar pits a while ago, it seems like this is one of those, I mean, like you said, it's been around a while. It's not holding up super well. So I've heard, if you had a good experience there in the past, it's especially disappointing in present day.
Yeah, so maybe put that on your skip list, but some of the other things.
Postcard with a picture.
Exactly. You don't need to go. It does smell really bad.
Yeah.
Any other things we thought of to add to Orlando or to add to Disneyland that you guys thought of that we haven't covered yet?
No, I mean, Los Angeles does have a space museum not far from the La Brea tar pits and their own zoo. It is definitely not, Los Angelinos are going to come for me, but it's nothing like the San Diego Zoo. It is a good zoo. If you are staying for some time in Los Angeles, it's worth a visit. But it's certainly not, a zoo on steroids in quite the same way.
I mean, and you're that close to San Diego.
Close.
So if you're going to go to a zoo, you might as well just go to San Diego. That zoo is like, I haven't been there in a long time, and I still think about that zoo. They have panda bears.
Yep. They have koalas too. Not many zoos have koalas. Every
animal you could possibly think of, I'm sure they have. So
it's a great
just drive up there and have a great time. Well, if we don't have anything else, I think that's all. The point of this is there is a ton to do. So if you're traveling with someone who isn't super keen on spending all of their vacation time at a Disney park, don't worry. There is a lot of other things that you can do to make everybody happy. Just talk to one of us, and we are happy to discuss all your options with you. Of course, we are biased to Disney because it is family-friendly fun and a safe, awesome environment. But if it's not 100% your cup of tea, we've got lots of options for you to make everybody's vacation happy. So thank you again to our sponsors, Wave of a Wand Travel. Again, visit them on their website, waveofawandtravel.com. They are waiting to plan a perfect vacation for you. So get in touch with one of their amazing travel advisors. And we will be back in 2 weeks with another exciting secret surprise episode. Until then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.